Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider dropping likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So these now just under 2 weeks remaining in this current transfer window, and I do believe now it's looking very imminent. Our next two signings are going to be Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire, and hopefully we can get the transfers Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes completed this week. So it's looking very, very likely, of course, they're going to be our next two signings. I do believe Harry Maguire is going to be, coming in before Bruno Fernandes. Then after Harry Maguire, I do believe, Bruno Fernandes, will be currently coming in. Obviously, Marzio, who's an Italian journalist, he has basically, said today that Manchester United are close to signing Bruno Fernandes, and he also did say yesterday in regards to Harry Maguire that our deal for Harry Maguire, of course, was in the closing stages. So we do know we spent £68 million so far this summer on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. So of course, if we are to get Harry Maguire in and Bruno Fernandes, obviously Harry Maguire is going to cost us a world record fee of £80 million. So obviously that's going to take our spending up to £148 million, and I think we are expected to get Bruno Fernandes for around £62 or £63 million. So that's going to take our spending to over £200 million this summer. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't actually say anywhere, he's looking to get a couple of more players in, before this window, does currently shut. I do believe, if Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes, do come in, they will dramatically improve the squad. Bruno Fernandes, to be fair, would be my first choice preference over Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio. Even though I would be excited about the prospects, of linking Milinkovic-Savic up with Paul Pogba and that in our midfield. I did say Milinkovic-Savic to Manchester United is probably, dependent on, what happens with Paul Pogba anywhere. But with the Bruno Fernandes, saga and all that, he's transferred to Manchester United. He's not dependent on, what happens with Paul Pogba. So regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, we are still looking to get him a deal finalised for Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, Marzio's reported today saying that Manchester United are closing on the signing of him. I do believe Bruno Fernandes has informed his Sporting Lisbon teammates, that he does want to leave Sporting Lisbon this summer, obviously to rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. So he has currently informed his teammates as Bruno Fernandes. But it was emerging out over the weekend and that saying that Manchester United had reached a transfer agreement. It said reportedly we've agreed a fee of around 62 or 63 million pounds. It also said reports indicated out over the weekend saying that Bruno Fernandes was set to fly to the UK to have his medical and that with Manchester United ahead of his proposed move to Old Trafford. But initially, I think actually now Sporting Lisbon are orchestrating playing Bruno Fernandes on Sunday in their game against Benfica in the Portuguese Super Cup. So Sporting Lisbon may play him on Sunday, and I do believe this is going to be Bruno Fernandes' farewell appearance. But yeah, we have seen glimpses of his best form, especially in pre-season as well with Sporting Lisbon. He scored a goal and assist in in Sporting Lisbon's 2-2 draw with Liverpool. So I think he'll dramatically improve Manchester United, and I am excited about the prospect of him coming in. I do believe he'll link up with Paul Pogba and that in our midfield really, really well. And like I said, only 24 years of age. But he has informed his teammates, of course, that he does want to leave Sporting Lisbon. But initially, the recent reports have actually said that Manchester United now we are preparing to make our first formal offer for Bruno Fernandes. But we do know Sporting Lisbon, value him around £70 million. Obviously, at one point, we was only willing to pay around £50 million for Bruno Fernandes. I do believe Sporting Lisbon's actual valuation, is actually seen to be a stumbling block. Bruno Fernandes making his proposed move to Manchester United. But like I said, Bruno Fernandes' agent has been in the UK quite a few times. He's obviously looking for the best possible deal for his client. And yes, I think he's going to be coming to Manchester United anyway. But initially said early on this week and last week that we initially agreed a fee with Sporting Lisbon. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed where he wants to play Bruno Fernandes, and I do believe he wants to play him as a number 10, because maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes that's where he'll be more effective, and that's where we'll probably see the best of Bruno Fernandes. That number 10 is obviously just behind the centre forward, but Bruno Fernandes, as he's proven in his 2 years with Sporting Lisbon, he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, his tenacity is really, really good. He's also very good from set pieces, etc., corners, free kicks and that. So he will elevate Manchester United forward with Bruno Fernandes. Like I said, Tottenham and Liverpool, of course, have been credited with an interest in him, but I do believe we've been considered the favourites to sign him at least for the last couple of weeks. You know, we was getting journalists, we were getting journalists out the other week as well, basically saying that, you know, that Manchester United, of course, were never in for him. But I do believe there's a lot of credibility now in Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United. There's also loads of credibility in Harry Maguire coming to Manchester United, because, you know, Di Marzio is actually, you know, a very reliable Italian journalist, you know, especially in terms of transfers and all that. You know, quite a lot of the time he is reliable. I also think, you know, the likes of Simon Stones is very reliable, so maybe Simon Stones, you know, may report on this story about, you know, Bruno Fernandes, you know, supposedly coming to Manchester United. I think he reportedly said, did Simon Stones, was it, that, you know, we are not close, you know, to you know, an agreement, you know, with Sporting Lisbon and all that. But that doesn't mean we're not anything. That just means, you know, we're far from reaching an agreement with Sporting Lisbon. But, you know, we are going to, you know, get this deal over the line. You know, the boss of Sporting Lisbon has actually, you know, basically said, you know, he's had his overarching view on the speculation about Bruno Fernandes. You know, he basically said, you know, his future still remains uncertain. You know, he basically said, you know, he could leave Sporting Lisbon, but the boss of Sporting Lisbon did say it's going to be hard for them to find an adequate replacement. You know, he's been analysing it this summer as the boss of Sporting Lisbon, and, you know, basically said, you know, quite a few clubs have been interested in signing him. But also Federico Fernandes, you know, he did say quite a while back there's been talks with Bruno Fernandes about his future, and he basically, you know, said, you know, what fee Manchester United, you know, would have to pay to have any chances of signing, and we have to pay, of course, upwards of £56 million. So maybe perhaps a fee hasn't been agreed, because now it's saying we're prepared to make our first formal transfer offer for Bruno Fernandes. But it did say over the weekend that around the £62 or £63 million fee had been agreed, which is actually, you know, coming from the Italian press. But yeah, I do believe Bruno Fernandes is coming to Manchester United, because I do believe Sporting Lisbon have come to accept the fact, you know, that he wants to leave, you know, Sporting Lisbon because he wants to rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. But, you know, we have been in for him for the entirety of the summer, and obviously, you know, we've been in several negotiations with Sporting Lisbon, and but yeah, I do believe, you know, it should be announced this week. It could actually, you know, be announced maybe Friday, maybe even Thursday. It could be announced. But Sporting Lisbon, you know, do want to keep hold of him until Sunday. Well, till the end of Sunday, obviously, because Sporting Lisbon do want to play Bruno Fernandes in their game against Benfica in the Portuguese Super Cup. He may not participate in that because his transfer to Manchester United, you know, may be completed by Sunday. But we will currently see what happens. But he will fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. And obviously, Solskjaer wants to recommend a number of young players to come to Manchester United this summer that can grow, develop and emulate and that into superstars. And Bruno Fernandes, I think, is primarily an attacking midfielder. He scored 31 goals, or was it 32 goals last season in 50 games, so he can score goals, he can create chances in that, and obviously, you know, it has been one of our priority targets. So Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United is a lot more likely to happen than Milinkovic Savic to Manchester United. Like I said, Milinkovic Savic to Manchester United is probably dependent on, you know, what happens with Paul Pogba. Maybe we may not now sign Milinkovic Savic, even though recent reports have been coming out, and it's been stemming from the Lazio president saying that, you know, Lazio, you know, will saying that Lazio, you know, will consider, you know, offers for Milinkovic Savic. And, you know, Lazio boss did come out and say, you know, he could leave Lazio, you know, if a suitable offer, you know, does come in for him. But like I said, I will be happy with Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes coming in. Maybe that's not enough, you know, that's not maybe enough. Maybe we need a bit more than that. But I'll be still, you know, happy, you know, with Harry Maguire coming in, because Harry Maguire is going to improve his defensively, and of course Bruno Fernandes is going to improve his in that midfield. But like I said, Tottenham had held quite a few negotiations with his agent. Also Liverpool and that have held quite a few negotiations there with his agent, but I think his actual first choice preference is Manchester United, because obviously he negotiated with his representatives a while back, you know, about his proposed moving that to Manchester United. Reports come out a couple of weeks ago saying that we were set to give him around 100 grand a week, which obviously equates to around 5.5 million a year. But yeah, I do believe now he's coming to Manchester United. He isn't going to be our third signing this summer. I do believe it's going to be Harry Maguire. That's going to be our third signing this summer. And then obviously, you know, Bruno Fernandes will be our current fourth signing. But I initially said, you know, we need an experienced centre half. We need two new additions in that midfield, regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba. Well, initially, it's in our plans to keep Paul Pogba and bring two midfielders in that can replace Herrera and Mario Fellaini. And of course, we're also in search for the right winger. But I'm very sceptical about Manchester United, you know, bringing in a right winger, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, you know, Ed Woodward, of course, did remain in the UK, because obviously he's overseeing our transfer business. Obviously, you know, he's keen on getting deals completed. Obviously, you know, he's working on getting the deal over the line for Harry Maguire. I think he's also keen on getting a deal over the line for Sean Longstaff. I'm very sceptical about Sean Longstaff coming in, because obviously, you know, Newcastle have said he's not for sale. Obviously, you know, Newcastle are demanding that they want around £50 million. Obviously, that's too extortionate for a player of his calibre and level. And I'm very sceptical that Manchester United, you know, would pay £50 million for Sean Sean Longstaff, even though he has been on our agenda, you know, for quite some time. But I think he'll end up remaining at Newcastle, because obviously Steve Bruce got appointed as Newcastle's new manager quite recently, you know, following the dismissal of Rafa Benitez last month. And obviously, you know, Steve Bruce has had his overarching view and on, you know, the speculation about Sean Longstaff, and you know, Steve Bruce dismissed speculations of, you know, Sean Longstaff coming to Manchester United, and he insisted that Sean Longstaff's future, you know, lies with Newcastle. This is, you know, what basically, you know, Steve Bruce had said. But yeah, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a couple of weeks ago, you know, instructed Manchester United to get a deal over the line for Sean Longstaff. Obviously, it said we held high-level talks with Newcastle about Sean Longstaff and all that. But obviously, you know, we have not yet made an official bid. It didn't actually say, you know, we was orchestrating on, you know, putting around the £30 million bidding for him and all that. But Newcastle, of course, are reluctant to offload the player. And Sean Longstaff is still inexperienced, and I still say he's a prospect, and I still say he needs time to develop. And I've got the same thoughts about Daniel James. You know, we're seeing glimpses of how good he is, of what good signing he has proven to be so far in pre-season, you know, Daniel James, but he's still a prospect, and like I said, he needs time to develop. And like I said, same with Sean Longstaff. You know, he only made his senior debut for Newcastle in December of last year. Obviously, you know, he did well in the second half of last season, did Sean Longstaff. You know, he's only got around 9 games to his name under his belt as Sean Longstaff, and he did thrive under Rafa Benitez's guidance really well. He's under contract with Newcastle till 2022. Obviously, you know, he sustained a knee ligament injury back in March, so he didn't initially play the last couple of months of last season, but he's only 21 years of age. He's primarily central midfielder, Sean Longstaff, so mainly box to box, but you know, he has been on our agenda for quite some time. We initially only value Sean Longstaff from between 18 to £20 million, so we do basically know that, you know, Newcastle are demanding more than double that, so I think we've opted out of the race officially now anyway for Sean Longstaff. But we probably may end up, you know, just getting one midfielder in, but hopefully if we can only get one midfielder in, hopefully, you know, Paul Pogba can remain at the football club and all that, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does know how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. But yeah, like I said, looking like, you know, that Bruno Fernandes is going to be coming in, so I do expect us to get 2 signings completed this week, and that should be Harry Maguire from Leicester and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, and hopefully maybe then we can get another player added onto the list as well. But yeah, we've got to do more transfer activity. Like I said, there's just under 2 weeks now remaining in this current window. Initially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference, you know, was actually, you know, to get our transfer business completed. You know, by the time we went on pre-season, he obviously, you know, said this back in March. But you know, Solskjaer's given his analysis on this current transfer window. You know, he hasn't become infuriated. You know, he just basically said, you know, we need to be patient. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he basically said, you know, we've got 2 good signings on the board so far this summer. But like I said, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding anywhere. But like I said, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the signings that he wants, you can basically say that the board have let him down, because obviously the board did initially assure that there was going to be a backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer. But like I say, still lots to address in this squad. I do believe we're going to have a better season this season, definitely. I think we'll have a better season this season than what we did last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. You know, we finished 6th, you know, we failed to qualify for the Champions League and all that, and it was very, very disappointing. But I think we're going to do better this season. Don't forget, Solskjaer was recently, you know, talking about our ambitions for this season. He believes we'll be aiming for further up than 4th. I'm still sceptical about us winning the league this season, but I do believe we'll probably finish in the top 4, maybe in the top 3, and I do think we'll qualify for the Champions League next season, because Champions League football is always very pivotal. You know, when you do want to attract the, you know, players to the elite level, of course, and obviously, you know, when you do want to obviously, you know, convince, you know, your imperative players to stay with the football club. And you know, we failed to qualify for the Champions League, you know, 3 times out of the 6 seasons since Alex Ferguson's retirement. But like I said, you know, we're still a massive club, as you all know. And I know we've been inconsistent for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, you know, we've been mismanaged, and this is the main factor, is, you know, of course, why we have been underachieving. So we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. But you know, like I said, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know, we've got, you know, an ecstatic stadium. We've got a fantastic fan base. We are the most successful team in England, you know, historically. You know, don't forget. And you know, we're a massive club. You know, with a massive revenue and all that. You know, I think some people have said maybe we do need to sell players, you know, to help us generate funds and maybe, you know, rebuild the squad even more. And I did initially say I think we need to sell players, you know, to help us rebuild the squad even more. Like I said, you know, if we can sell Romelu Lukaku, you know, obviously if we can generate around 75 or 80 million pounds from him, obviously that's what we're demanding. You know, we can obviously, you know, then go and put that on Harry Maguire from Leicester. So there's a prime example there that we need to sell players, you know, to get, you know, the players that would do currently wanting. And But yeah, so I do believe we're going to have a better season this season, which is very, very good news. Like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did insist anyway, we're not intending on overspending on our transfer tags. Quite a few people have said, we should be sensible of our recruitment this summer. But with Bruno Fernandes, like I said, he's a very, very good player. Spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger. But yeah, it's obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has wanted Bruno Fernandes for quite some time. But yeah, it's looking like Manchester United are going to get a deal over the line for him. But he's informed his Sporting Lisbon teammates that he is going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon and that this summer. So he's moved to Manchester United, like I said. He's not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Obviously with Milinkovic-Savic, like I said, I'm a bit sceptical about him now. Coming to Manchester United, like I said earlier on the video. Even though Lazio presidents come out and admitted that they are open to selling Milinkovic-Savic. They will consider offers for him. I do believe it says Lazio want around £81 million. Where it did initially say we were set to get him in a deal with around £72 million. Obviously, I do believe Milinkovic-Savic's agent has obviously been to the UK. He actually arrived in the UK last week to obviously hold talks with Manchester United. To thrash out a deal for his actual client to join Manchester United and all that. But maybe I'm a bit sceptical now of Milinkovic-Savic coming in. My preference would be Bruno Fernandes over Milinkovic-Savic. But Milinkovic-Savic, I still believe, would be a fantastic midfielder, and I think he would blend in alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield very, very well. So I would be excited about the prospect of that. But we've been in for Milinkovic-Savic for quite some time. Was also in for him last summer, but I think Lazio were demanding that they wanted around £100 million for him last summer. So we've been basically linked to him for the past year. Obviously, recent reports said we've allegedly agreed personal terms with the midfielder. That came out from the Sun. It said reportedly we're willing to give him around £5.4 million a year and all that, but no fee has come to an agreement. So the actual fee seems to be the stumbling block, because I read in reports last week and it said we was around £18 million short of Lazio's valuation, because Lazio was seeking around £90 million. We was only willing to offer around £72 million for his services. Milinkovic-Savic has spent 4 years there with Lazio, and I think the majority of his 4 years he's done really, really well. He's proven that he can score goals, he can create chances. He's technically a very, very good footballer. He's primarily a central midfielder, so he is mainly a box-to-box midfielder. I think he can also be deployed as an attacking midfielder, but he's 24 years of age. He's actually the same age as Bruno Fernandes. He's obviously Serbian in that is Milinkovic-Savic. He scored 31 goals in 138 games in all competitions in his 4 years with Lazio. He only signed a new deal with Lazio back in October, so he's under contract with Lazio until 2023. But I do believe it initially allegedly said that Man United have held talks with his agent. Reportedly we've come to an agreement with his agent. As far as I know, no fees yet come to an agreement, but reportedly says that the personal terms that are being agreed. And he initially said last week, that this got proven to be a load of nonsense. I always say, them stories, proven to be cynical. It initially said that, Man United had agreed a £67 million fee with Lazio for Milinkovic-Savic, and it also said there were £4 million in add-ons, which initially risen up to around £71 million, and it allegedly said he agreed a 5-year contract with Manchester United, but obviously got proven to be a load of nonsense. But this was actually stemming from La Repubblica, which is obviously an Italian outlet, saying, we had currently agreed this. But he is a good player, Milinkovic-Savic, but if I had to choose out of Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic-Savic, my first choice preference, would be Bruno Fernandes over Milinkovic-Savic. But like I did say anyway, Milinkovic-Savic's move to Manchester United, of course, is dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. We've identified him as our priority target to replace Paul Pogba at the football club. But I did say, Paul Pogba does leave anyway. We'll definitely generate over £100 million for his departure. And I do believe with that money, we can maybe get 2 or maybe even 3 players. To be quite fair, that would be a bit sillier for Manchester United. Say we get £150 million for Paul Pogba, we generate that £150 million, and then we go spend £150 million, on 2 or 3 players. That's just basically, spending, that's just spending the same of what we've generated from his current departure. So that wouldn't, really make many sense. But Paul Pogba could, still remain at the football club. His future, still remains uncertain at the moment. Don't forget, we've put £180 million price tag on Paul Pogba. So basically, we're demanding more than double than what we initially paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. So we're demanding, basically more than double, because obviously, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. And I said, based on the extortionate amount we've put on him, this could be the stumbling block of Paul Pogba, making his proposed move away from Manchester United. Obviously, we do know Real Madrid have been heavily linked to him for the majority of the summer. Obviously, Juventus have obviously, been in there for him. But I do believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference for quite some time has obviously, been Real Madrid, and his likely destination has been Real Real Madrid. You know, Real Madrid themselves have spent 300 million this summer on 5 players, or they've spent over 300 million pounds. I do believe Real Madrid are looking to offload a couple more of their players. To offload a couple more of their players, you know, to help them generate even more funds. Like I said, I think they've generated around £100 million at the moment. I do believe Real Madrid are open to selling James Rodriguez. Obviously with Bale, I think it's looking like he's going to be going to China according to recent reports, because he's fallen out of favour under Zinedine Zidane. I think I read a report the other day saying that, you know, this Chinese club are reportedly not willing to offer a fee for Gareth Bale. So if that is the case, Real Madrid are going to lose out on around 85 or 86 million pounds, because obviously, you know, that's what Real Madrid paid for him from Tottenham back in 2013, and obviously, you know, that was a world record fee then. But I do believe he did initially say he was set to earn around £1 million a week in the Chinese Super League. Was Gareth Bale. At one point, before the stories came out of him going to China, you know, Real Madrid were desperate to include Gareth Bale in their bid to sign Paul Pogba and that. But you know, Paul Pogba could still remain at the football club, and I know in a large portions of his 3 years, you know, since he returned to Manchester United in 2016, and over 3 years now, should I say, you know, he's been really inconsistent. You know, we have seen glimpses of his best form. You know, he started pre-season well. You know, he did well when Oliver Solskjaer, you know, was the interim manager. You know, Paul Pogba did well in that 3-month period. But I'd still say in this market, this day and age, you know, Paul Pogba is worth around maybe 150 or 160 million pounds. That's what I think he could be worth. But like I said, you know, he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United, as we all thought, you know, he couldn't, would have done. But, you know, Solskjaer has held talks with Paul Pogba, you know, regarding his long-term future, and Solskjaer's been talking a lot about him recently, you know, praising him and all that. But Solskjaer does know how much of an imperative player he is. Obviously, Paul Pogba confirmed, was it over a month ago now anyway, he wants to leave the football club. He publicly admitted this, and he did say, of course, he's seeking for a new challenge. And but yeah, if he does leave the football club, Paul Pogba, he will probably not end up making the move to Real Madrid. And I don't think, you know, he'll make a return back to Turin. But he did initially say, you know, Solskjaer considered, he had revealed that he had considered, you know, Paul Pogba for the captaincy at Manchester United this season, you know, in a bid, you know, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. And he did initially say that, you know, we was willing to offer him a new contract as well. He's still got 2 years left in his current deal at the moment, with an option to extend it by a third year. But like I said, when Paul Pogba's playing at his best, as he has proven at Manchester United, you know, he's definitely, you know, one of the best midfielders in the world, is Paul Pogba. But like I said, you know, he could still end up staying at Manchester United, but he's still 26 years of age. He's probably, you know, he still has got on a lot of years ahead of him, so he's still a lot of development in Pogba, you know, don't forget. But I'd love him, you know, to stay at the football club, Pogba. But like I said, there has been talks about him going back to Juventus, because, you know, don't forget, he did have 4 good years in Turin. But like I said, with Juventus, probably more than likely they would have to offload a couple of their players, you know, to you know, their central players, you know, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I just don't think, you know, they'd be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. So if he leaves Manchester United, he will go to Real Madrid, I think. Obviously, with the club, he's won the Europa League and the League Cup. That came his second season with Manchester United. But Paul Pogba's stats were very impressive last season. You know, he did win. He did score 16 goals and provide 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions. So to be fair to him, his stats were very, very impressive last season with Paul Pogba's. And Paul Pogba's, you know, agent Mini Raiola, you know, he came out quite a few weeks back and said, you know, Paul Pogba is in the process of leaving the football club. So, like I said, you know, regardless what happens with Paul Pogba anyway, you know, we still want to bring, you know, Bruno Fernandes in. So, Harry Maguire, now, like I updated you yesterday, you know, Di Marzio came out with the same sort of story, you know, of what he's come out with Bruno Fernandes today. You know, he came out yesterday and basically said, you know, Manchester United are in the closing stages of the Harry Maguire deal. You know, this is what, you know, Di Marzio currently said. And it reportedly said yesterday, you know, that Harry Maguire had skipped Leicester training. Allegedly, you know, he was supposed to be ill, as it currently got confirmed. But obviously, you know, with him skipping training yesterday, obviously, you know, that fueled more speculation. And obviously, you know, I think he's actually, you know, become infuriated with Leicester. I think he's lost his patience with Leicester, you know, over their reluctance, you know, to selling them and that to Manchester United, because obviously, you know, Harry Maguire, you know, does want to make the move to Manchester United. Like I said, it's looking very imminent. You know, he's going to be our third signing this summer. Obviously, you know, we're set to get him for the world record fee of £80 million. Obviously, you know, this is going to exceed this fee is going to obviously exceed the fee of what Liverpool paid for Virgil van Dijk, because obviously, you know, Liverpool paid around £75 million for Virgil van Dijk. We haven't come to an agreement on a fee yet with Leicester, but I think we are close to coming to an agreement on a fee with Leicester, because Leicester said they want in the excess of £80 million. Manchester United, of course, are willing to pay what they are demanding. Brendan Rodgers, of course, has had his overarching view on it all, and he was speaking about us not willing to meet Leicester's valuation and all that, and also Manchester City. I don't think now Manchester City, of course, are in for him. Reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it was looking like Manchester City were going to get Harry Maguire. Obviously, City were orchestrating on paying him around £280 a week. City were seeing him as replacing Vincent Kompany, but obviously, as it has currently confirmed, I think initially City had withdrawn their interest because City are not willing to pay what Leicester are demanding for Harry Maguire. I think City were only willing to pay around £65 million for him. But obviously, we do need a central defender. We need someone that can go alongside Lindelof in our back line. Obviously, we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to put Harry Maguire alongside Lindelof in our back line. And I do believe Lindelof himself is excited about the prospects, of Harry Maguire, linking up with him in our current back line. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed Manchester United, to get this deal over the line. Well, he's instructed Ed Woodward, to get this deal over the line. Ed Woodward is working on getting the deal finalised, because obviously, he remains in negotiations with Leicester. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified him as his number one defensive target. But Harry Maguire informed Brendan Rodgers the other week. He also informed his Leicester teammates that he does want to leave Leicester to obviously rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. And I do believe he wants to come to Manchester United, and obviously he does want to relish that opportunity. But I think I was reading recent reports, they said Leicester do want a higher transfer fee up front, because obviously I think the main factor reason why this is because Leicester are sceptical about us qualifying for the Champions League next season. And the Daily Mail reported a couple of days ago saying that we have offered £72 million so far, with additional bonus payments, based on I think trophies and us finishing in the top four and all that. And reporters said these bonuses, would be due to be paid, if we secure Champions League qualification for next season. But they want a higher transfer fee up front. And we recently reading in reports, it did say, we're ready to pay what Leicester are demanding, as soon as we can, sell Lukaku and that to Inter Milan. But yeah, I'd love, I think Harry Maguire, will be an absolutely fantastic sign and that for Manchester United. And, on two occasions, they've basically, come out of the media. Obviously, they've basically been speculating, and obviously they justified their existence on these two previous stories, when they came out and said, we agreed £80 million deal with Leicester for Harry Maguire. That came out that over Sunday when it came out from Bleacher Report saying that we had agreed around an £80 million deal for him. Also, Duncan Castles reported on it a couple of weeks ago, saying that we agreed an £80 million fee with Leicester for Harry Maguire. But obviously, them two stories, got proven to be cynical. But I don't think we're far away now, from coming to an agreement on a fee. Don't forget, we've already had a £70 million bid turned down for Harry Maguire. We've already had, a £70 million bid turned down for him. I think Brendan Rodgers actually confirmed that there has been two bids turned down for him. But we initially have been given a boost in our pursuit of Harry Maguire, because obviously Brendan Rodgers insists that there is no cut-off date in which Leicester would no longer consider selling Harry Maguire. But yeah, he definitely wants to leave Leicester, and I think it would be fantastic for Manchester United. He will improve his defensively, and we've had issues defensively for several years now. We haven't had a world-class central defender since the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand. Since we had the likes of Vidic and Fernandes, we haven't had a world-class central defender. But I think he'll complement Victor Lindelof in our backline really, really well. But analysing last summer, it was our number one, it was our actual, priority, our number one priority to recommend a central defender. But reflecting back last summer, of course, the board weren't backing the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to the football club. But one of the players Mourinho wanted last summer was Harry Maguire. But we were being relentlessly linked to him. I think we was in for him last summer, like I said. I think we was also tracking him, when he was a youngster at Sheffield United, Harry Maguire. But yeah, we've been in for him for quite some time. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's his number one priority target to bring in, to address our defensive deficiencies. I think Harry Maguire is regarded as one of the best central defenders in the league. I don't think he's as good as Virgil van Dijk, or nowhere near as good as Virgil van Dijk, because you can say Virgil van Dijk is, you know, the best centre half in the world. But yeah, he's well Premier League proven. Harry Maguire, you know, obviously he played in Leicester's pre-season game against Stoke on Saturday. Obviously that could actually, you know, be his farewell appearance for Leicester, but I think it's confirmed today that he has now, you know, and now he is in training. Is Harry Maguire. But like I said, he's had 2 good years with Leicester. You know, obviously, you know, with Leicester he's made 76 appearances in all competitions. 69 of those have come in the Premier League. He only signed a 5-year contract last summer with Leicester, so he signed a long-term contract, and he still remains under contract with Leicester till 2023. But Leicester selling for £80 million. You know, they'll gain a huge profit on the player, because they only paid £17 million for him from Hull City a couple of years ago. Did Leicester. But like I said, Mike Phelan has managed, you know, Harry Maguire, so he's managed Harry Maguire. So he only had a short tenure with Hull, did Mike Phelan, but I think Mike Phelan was keen on reuniting with him, and I think he did say he wants to become the captain of Manchester United as Harry Maguire. Of course, if his move to Old Trafford materialises, which is looking very, very imminent now, indeed that's currently going to happen. So I do believe Harry Maguire to Manchester United this week should be announced. I also believe Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United, you know, this week should be currently announced. It adds up in total, if you know, this is, you know, disregarding, you know, what we spent on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. For Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire, say Harry Maguire is going to be 80 million, obviously. Bruno Fernandes is probably, you know, going to be around 60-odd million pounds. That's going to amount up to around 143 million pounds. So 142 or 143 million or something like that on, obviously, you know, Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, I do believe, you know, there will be 2 very, very good signings indeed. And I think, you know, Leicester are under no financial pressure, you know, to sell Harry Maguire. And I think, you know, we get Harry Maguire in anyway, you know, we're going to orchestrate on selling one central defender, because analysing, you know, we have got quite a few central defenders in our team. You know, we've got around 5 or 6. You know, we've got Jones, Smalling, they're 2 inconsistent now. You know, it was a bad mistake from us, you know, giving them 2 new long-term contracts. You know, we've got Rojo. I think we need to get rid of Rojo, because his Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries sustained. We've also got Alex Tuanzebe, you know, we've got Lindelof, you know, we've got quite a few central defenders. We've got Eric Bay. Obviously, Eric Bay is a doubt for this season, because obviously, you know, he's sustained a serious knee injury. Like I said, he's a doubt for this season. So basically now we've, you know, Solskjaer wants to get this deal over the line for Harry Maguire as soon as possible. But yeah, it's looking very imminent now. It's currently now going to happen, which I'm very, very delighted about. But there has been, you know, a lot of central defenders on our agenda, you know, don't forget. But it's looking like now Harry Maguire is going to be coming in. But I think, you know, the players we need to sell, because obviously we need to sell the problematic players. You know, Rojo we need to sell Darmian, because Darmian's enjoyed a very difficult time at the club. You know, he's now served his 2 requirements at Manchester United, is Maguire Darmian. Sanchez, you know, for the majority of the summer, you know, we'll try getting rid of Sanchez, but we do know he's going to be remaining at the football club, because the club have found it very hard to get rid of Sanchez, you know, reflecting on his substantial wages. So he's going to be remaining at the football club. I think Matic, you know, he should have been sold this summer. We know he's going to be staying at Manchester United, but he's too inconsistent, is Matic. You know, every time he plays in that midfield, you know, looks totally imbalanced. You know, he's too slow himself, and you know, he's not getting any younger. You know, he's aging up. He's the man in Matic. You know, he's highly experienced and he's proven in the Premier League, and we have seen the best of him at Manchester United towards the back end of last season. But you know, I've just got too many concerns about him. So maybe I think we should get rid of him. I think initially we should get rid of Smalling and Jones, because again, you know, they're no longer good enough for Manchester United. With Lukaku, I think we need to get rid of Lukaku, because I think it'll be beneficial for Manchester United. I think it'll also be beneficial for the Lukaku himself, because obviously now he's served his 2 requirements at the club. You know, obviously Lukaku hasn't, you know, travelled. He's not part of the Norway squad. Darmian's not part of the Norway squad. Sanchez is not part of the Norway squad. You know, quite a few players have not made an appearance on tour. But you know, with Lukaku not playing in any of these pre-season games and not being part of the Norway squad, that's going to obviously add more fuel in. That's going to add, you know, it's going to fuel more speculation about his long-term future. I do believe Lukaku will leave Manchester United. Obviously, and I think we've actually, you know, set Romelu Lukaku's transfer deadline. Reportedly, we've given him until this Thursday, you know, to engineer a move away from the football club. And you know, he's not going to get in the team now. You know, you've got Rashford. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference ahead of Romelu Lukaku. You've also got Daniel James now, Martial, you know, Mason Greenwood and Tron and that in our attacking line. Lukaku's going to find it very hard to get in that mix. So I think we'll either sell him to Inter Milan. You know, he could still go to Juventus. You know, because we could see Dybala coming as part of the deal. You know, of Lukaku going out to Juventus, and you know Dybala obviously coming out to Manchester United and all that. And I think that would be very beneficial in that for Manchester United. Obviously, we've confirmed we want to recoup the money that we paid for him from Everton. Maybe we even orchestrating on gaining a little bit of a profit. But we want around 75 or 80 million. And Inter Milan have obviously been struggling to meet this valuation. Obviously, Inter Milan I think have already had 2 bids turned down. They put a £54 million bidding for him, got turned down. I think they also orchestrated on getting him on a 2-year loan with an option with the obligation, to buy him at the end of the loan. But again, Manchester United didn't entertain his offer because we're only willing to let Lukaku go on a permanent deal. But yeah, Inter Milan have held several talks with Manchester United. I still believe they are in talks now. They've travelled to the UK, to hold talks with Manchester United. Federico Pastorella, Lukaku's agent, obviously, he's held quite a few talks over Inter Milan. I think Lukaku himself has held talks with his own agent because he went to meet up with him in Belgium, to discuss a potential move to Manchester United a couple of days ago. But Antonio Conte wants Lukaku, and he's been a long admirer of the player, and Antonio Conte has identified Romelu Lukaku as his #1 target. And Antonio Conte, don't forget, wanted Lukaku when he was manager of Chelsea a couple of years ago, but obviously he ended up making the move to Manchester United, and Lukaku had turned down Chelsea. But I think Lukaku wants to play under Antonio Conte. He did describe Antonio Conte as the best manager in the world. Inter Milan, of course, are under financial fair play restrictions. Obviously, they've tried to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet that 75 or 80 million pound valuation. But like I said, we're also unwilling to accept swap deals that Inter Milan have offered us. Inter Milan have tried to involve maybe a player or two of theirs, to obviously help them meet that 75 or 80 million pound valuation, or maybe to try and convince us to lower our initial valuation. But like I said, he could still go to Juventus, because I do believe Manchester United have been in talks with Juventus I've been in talks with Juventus over a sensational swap deal involving Lukaku and Paul Dybala. I do believe Lukaku's actual first choice preference for a long time has been Inter Milan, but Inter Milan have been in for him for the entirety of the summer, or majority of the summer, if not the entirety. But Juventus have just recently come into the equation. They've just entered the race recently for Lukaku. Obviously, I think Lukaku was talking about a move to Juventus a while back, and a while back it was his first choice preference, because I think Lukaku was excited about the prospect of playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo in the Juventus squad and all that. But Dybala could still be possibly part of the deal, so I would be excited about the prospect of Dybala coming in. Dybala's a very, very good player. Dybala is a very, very good player. Like I said, I've already given you the news about Dybala. Like I said, I think he's set to hold further talks with Sarri this week regarding his future. But I think Juventus are set to notify him that they're open to selling him and that this summer. I think he's initially valued at around £80 million by Juventus. Like I said, Tottenham that have been in there for him. But yeah, I think it'll be beneficial if we get rid of Lukaku anywhere. Obviously, service to requirements at the club. He's been at Manchester United 2 years. He's still got 3 years left on his contract. Obviously, for the club in all competitions, he's netted 42 goals in 96 appearances, so that's still quite impressive. Was exceptional in his first season with Manchester United, but didn't really replicate that in his second season at the club. But Solskjaer did want him initially to stay for one more season, but I think Solskjaer's come to accept the fact that Lukaku wants to leave the football club, and I think it would be beneficial for him. 26 years of age, Lukaku still got him a lot of years ahead of him. Don't get me wrong, Lukaku's goal scoring pedigree, and that's fantastic in the Premier League, and he's Premier League proven. But I just think we've basically got to get rid of him. So yeah, I do believe, in my opinion, we do probably need to sell players, maybe to generate funds and rebuild the squad, or maybe just need to sell players because there's obviously some problematic players at the football club. And obviously, we've got Christiansen coming up very, very soon. Obviously, I'll give him a match reaction after that game. Obviously, it's our 5th game of pre-season. We've had a fantastic start to pre-season so far. 4 wins out of 4. 9 goals scored. Only 1 goal conceded. But I do believe the young players have really stepped up to the plate. You've got Mason Greenwood. He scored 2 goals so far in pre-season. He's been assured more playing time this season. As Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has confirmed, he's going to get promoted into the first team as Mason Greenwood. So he has shined. He has definitely risen up to the occasion in pre-season, and I think he'll, definitely do well this season in the Premier League. I should hope anyway. But he's still inexperienced, and he's still the upcoming future. We got Chon. He's done really, really well. I don't think Chon actually played against Tottenham, because he came off with he sustained, I think, a knock against Inter Milan. Jimmy Garner, he did well in the game against Perth Glory, getting his name on the score sheet. He's also the upcoming future. I think McTominay, has done pretty well. And like I said, I think Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, they've both been absolutely fantastic. They've both been fantastic, Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and I think they will continue this. But like I said, the majority of the young players, I think Andres Pereira, has been quite impressive. But yeah. Mostly, the young players have done really, really well in pre-season. This should be an easy win for Manchester United against Christian Sund. Obviously, Christian Sund, I think, are they midway through their season now. Obviously, don't forget, Christian Sund only got promoted to the top level of Norwegian football back in 2016. So, obviously, they finished 7th and 5th in their 2 campaigns in the top flight. Did Christian Sund, Christian Sund BK was only founded back in 2003. That was obviously around 15 years ago now, because obviously Christian Sund FK and Klausen Engen FK came together to obviously establish a new team and that. Obviously this is the first time we're going to be playing a Norwegian opposition since 2017, and we beat Valerenga back in 2017 by 3 goals to 0. The team will be announced now anyway, I should presume. I think it kicks off at 6 o'clock, so I will go have a look at that, but we'll give you match reaction after the current game. But like I said, Solskjaer's going to analyse all the performances in pre-season. Then he's going to get a glimpse of an idea, what team and that to go with against Chelsea. And but yeah, I think we'll look very, very good this season. Bruno Fernandes coming in, Harry Maguire coming in. We're going to look a much better team, and yeah, very, very excited about that. But Solskjaer, I think, can get us back to success without a shadow of a doubt. Like I said, he's got a bit of experience as a manager. Don't forget, he proved himself when he was the interim manager of the club in his first 3 months. He won a couple of Norwegian titles there with Molde. He hasn't really got the experience of manager to the highest level, but he's at a football club, that he knows inside out. He managed a Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years. Obviously, like I said, was a great player under Alex Ferguson for 11 years as well, don't forget. And yeah, so I think he can get Manchester United, definitely back to success. But like I said, guys, the main part of this video, was to give you the news about, who our next 2 signings are going to be. It's obviously going to be Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, first from Leicester, then Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. But now, according to recent reports, we're set to make our first formal transfer offer for Bruno Fernandes, and reportedly he's informed his teammates that he does want to leave Sporting Lisbon, and I think his transfer to Manchester United should be completed this week, even though Sporting Lisbon are orchestrating on, playing Bruno Fernandes in their game against Benfica on Sunday. Obviously, if he does play in that game, obviously, that will be his farewell appearance and all that. And yeah, but I'd love him at Manchester United there, like I said. But between him and, between Bruno Fernandes and Milinkovic-Savic, my preference, would be Bruno Fernandes over Milinkovic-Savic, even though I would be excited about, the prospects of Milinkovic-Savic linking up with Paul Pogba in our midfield, and all that. But like I said, I don't think Milinkovic-Savic, is currently going to be coming in. So you'll get your match reaction after the Manchester United Christian Sund game, as always. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes, on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.